New developments in the Russia investigation. Special counsel Robert Mueller filing new charges against former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort and his deputy Rick Gates. Our chief justice correspondent Pierre Thomas has those latest details, and he's there in Washington. Good morning, Pierre.
Robin, good morning. That's right. Manafort and Gates today facing new charges. More evidence that the special counsel is turning up the heat in this investigation. The new 32-count superseding indictment filed last night accuses Manafort and Gates of tax evasion and bank fraud in a series of alleged crimes beyond the previous charges of money laundering brought last October, to which they pleaded not guilty. The alleged scheme, secretly funneling $75 million into offshore accounts through a number of countries, including Cyprus, and then failing to pay taxes on more than $30 million of it. Prosecutors say much of the money came from Ukrainian politicians with close ties to the Kremlin. And they say some of the alleged crimes took place while both men worked for the Trump campaign. According to investigators, the alleged scheme allowed Manafort and Gates to live lavish lifestyles. A total of $500,000 allegedly spent on clothing in Beverly Hills, $200,000 allegedly spent on 4 Range Rovers, and more than $800,000 of alleged landscaping spending. Overnight, a spokesman for Manafort released a statement saying he's confident that he will be acquitted on all the charges, including the new ones. We did not hear from Gates, but he has been in negotiations for a possible plea deal. And these new charges will only increase the pressure. George?
Okay, let's talk to our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams, about that. Thank you, Pierre. Let's start out with these new charges right now. You saw Manafort there say he believes he will be acquitted. If not, faces effectively the rest of his life in prison.
That's right. You go from facing, let's say, about a decade to possibly decades as a result of these new charges. These really relate to lying to the banks and lying on your taxes. Basically saying, yeah, you know, all that other stuff we mentioned in the previous indictment, well, that all existed, and as part of that, an extension of that, was lying on their taxes about it, lying to the banks about mortgages, et cetera, and that's what the additional charges were.
And as Pierre mentioned, Gates has been on and off talks with the special counsel about making a deal. These new charges dramatically increase the pressure on him.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, typically when charges are filed, it means that the conversations broke down, that the possible agreement isn't happening. You don't know that's the case here. They certainly still could reach a deal for something like that. But the fact that these charges have been filed absolutely increases the heat on both Manafort and Gates to offer information. Remember, when you say cut a deal, it means that the prosecutor wants something from them. It's not just let's avoid a trial. It's let's make a deal so you can provide us with information.
And that's what gets you to higher ups. The question is, who could either of them give up in a possible deal?
Exactly right. Yeah.
More on that to come. Dan Abrams, thanks very much.